completed my Pokédex challenge. I have one card for all 1,025 Pokemon. Let's take a look at the binder and I'll share some of the tips and tricks so that you have a fun and enjoyable time while collecting and hopefully save you a little bit of money along the way. First, let's take a look at the binder itself. This is a Collectabeast binder. I was able to pick this up on Amazon. It fits all 1,025 cards you need to complete your Pokédex, plus there's about 4 to 5 empty pages in the back for anything else you want to store and for when Pokemon announces any new Mons. All right, let's take a look at the very first page of our Pokédex. For the Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, I went with the modern Scarlet and Violet era illustration rares, Bulbasaur and Squirtle from Stellar Crown, and then the Charmander, which was actually a promo from the Obsidian Flames ETB. And then similarly for the Ivysaur, Charmeleon, and Wartortle, I went with the holographic version of the base set artworks that were released in a trading card deck a few years back. You'll notice I'm a big fan of connecting artworks, especially within this Pokédex collection. I think they look great together. So we had to do the XY era promos of Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. 3 of the coolest artworks for 3 of the most popular Pokemon. I love how those look on that first page. All right, let's take a look at page 2 now. And as we go through here, I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks that helped me throughout my journey. When you open up this blank binder with no Pokemon in it, it's a very daunting task. There's a lot of slots to fill. It seems like it's going to take forever. It seems like it's going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars. But there's some really good tips and tricks that you can follow that will make this collection journey enjoyable for you. It'll be a learning experience, and hopefully along the way we'll save a little bit of money. The first tip I have is to print out these little proxy cards that you will slot into your Pokédex, all the way from Bulbasaur all the way up through the 1025th Pokemon. This will make sure that you're organized and you don't have to constantly go back and reorder all of your Pokemon because you've forgotten one or you misplaced one. If you're one number off and you're up into Gen 5, 6, and 7, it can be a lot of work to then reorganize all of the cards that you've already messed up because you've misplaced your cards. So print out some proxies. I was able to find a downloadable file on Etsy. I think I paid $1.99 for it, and then just printed them off and then cut them myself. It'll save you a ton of time and headache in the future, and they look kind of cool too. The next big thing that will help with organization is tracking your progress in a Google Sheet or some type of app. I use the Dex app, which is a free application on iOS and Android. It allows you to create folders, and within there I was able to track all of the cards that I have already placed in my Pokédex and what I still needed to complete. They also have just the normal Pokédex in the app as well, so you could obviously track to see what you're still missing from the Pokédex in general. But I had a lot of cards that I already have that are parts of master sets that I didn't want to have to include in my Pokédex and break up my other sets. So that feature didn't really work great for me. So I was able to create a folder, one proxy card for each one of the Pokemon in the Pokédex, and that really helped me stay organized and track my progress. Okay, so now we're organized. We have everything laid out. We're 1 through 1025. We have all our proxies in. We have an app ready to go to track progress. Where do you start? Well, I started by going through all the bulk that I already had. So for the last year to 2 years, I had saved quite a bit of bulk from packs that I've opened. And I went through and I organized and I sorted all of my bulk and then took all the cards that I needed to complete my Pokédex and slotted them into the Pokédex. I had a decent amount of bulk, but I know some of you out there had way more than me. And I have to say, I got probably 35% of the way done with the entire Pokédex just by going through my bulk. So if you've been collecting for a couple years, and I'm new back into the hobby for the first time since I was a kid, so I have not been collecting for longer than 2 years. So I don't have that much bulk and I don't have that much variety of different expansions, but I was still able to get almost 30 to 40% of my Pokédex complete just by going through my bulk. And that cost me a grand total of $0. Yes, it's time consuming. A lot of people don't have fun sorting through stuff, but I kind of had fun going through that and being able to put the cards that I needed into my Pokédex, sort everything, get organized, and I had 30 to 40% done without spending $1. This leads me into my most important tip that I have for you if you're starting this journey, is to buy the cards that you want. Don't chase the hype. And most importantly, as you see as we flip through here, the vast majority of this Pokédex is full of basic commons, uncommons, and rares. There's no Moonbryons in here. There's no first edition Charizards. Now I have a couple of cooler cards that weren't part of master sets that I was able to put in here because they didn't fit anywhere else in any of my other binders collection. But you don't have to chase the biggest hype cards, the biggest money, most expensive cards. Spend your time going to your local card shops and going through their bulk. That is huge. I completed probably 50% of this Pokédex outside of what I already had, just going through bulk bins and binders and boxes at local card shops. You can also pick up some of these online for pretty cheap, but I didn't have fun doing that, and that didn't feel like it was a great collection experience for me as I was doing my Pokédex, so I didn't purchase a single card online that went into my Pokédex. Now, sometimes you might have to, as there's a couple cards out there, Pokemon out there with only 1 or 2 cards, so it can be challenging to find them. But I continued to find, when I would go on vacation or go out of town, I would look up card shops when I had some free time and wanted to kill some time, and I'd go through their bulk bins, and I got lucky. I found the Tyrant and Tyrantrum out of town when I was on a trip and I had some time to kill. They only have 2 cards in all of Pokemon. So you can find the cards, it just takes some time and patience. But in doing so, these cards are so inexpensive, it makes this an affordable experience and more rewarding. When you find that 5-cent card that you've been looking for a few weeks at a random card shop in a box underneath a table somewhere, it's fun. You know, there's a lot of enjoyment out of that, and it doesn't cost anything because you can easily go down a path of going on eBay and start purchasing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these cards. Next thing you know, after shipping and fees, you spend a few $100s, and what did you really get out of it? Was that really an enjoyable experience? To me, it wasn't. So I made sure I didn't purchase anything online, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, you'll be able to find a ton of cards in your bulk bins at your local card shops. So start there first, save yourself some money, don't chase the hype, don't try to fill this up with the most expensive cards. Pick the cards that you want, and each card, even the little silly ones that are worth a nickel, have a good story for you and will be meaningful for you when you're complete. And once you complete your Pokédex, now when you rip packs, you have another thing to look out for. So if you're not completing a master set, a lot of times when I would rip packs and you get a hit, it's like, oh, okay, great. Immediately I go look up how much it's worth, $5 or $6 card. You know, there wasn't a place for it. It didn't fit in a master set or anywhere else in my collection. Now if I pull, a Kilowattrel, I can look and see what card I have in place in my Pokédex, and if it's a basic card, I can upgrade it. And that's great. I think to me, that's worth more than the $3 store credit I would get trading that card in at my card shop by putting it in my collection. Now there's a memory that's created there. That card means something. It's something that I pulled, and I used it towards my Pokédex collection to make it a little bit more diverse and upgrading it too. So that's a positive as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about this collection experience for completing your Pokédex without spending a ton of money. So be smart about it and stay disciplined and be patient, because this does take time. We're talking about over 1,000 different cards here. So it does take some time, and it takes some planning and strategizing and budgeting. Make sure you set yourself a budget and you stick to it, or else you can get way out over your skis and spend a lot of money early on, and then you've blown your budget for the whole Pokédex within the first couple of weeks. The other benefit for me, and something that I gained from this experience, and this might be more unique to me than others, but as I mentioned before, I used to collect Pokemon as a kid, and I got out after the Neo era, and then I was completely out of Pokemon. I didn't play the games, I didn't collect the cards, I didn't watch any of the anime, so I had no idea. Essentially anything after Gen 3, a little bit of Gen 4 I knew, but I knew nothing after Gen 4. Nothing. All of these Pokemon were unfamiliar to me, and I was learning them the first time when I got back in a couple years ago, opening packs. I had no idea what half the Pokemon were. So then when I started this exercise and I listed out all the Pokemon, printed out the proxies, learned more about their types, learned more about their abilities and their attack moves, it was a great learning experience. Like over half the Pokédex I had never heard of before. So it was great for me to then understand, wow, I missed out on all of this stuff from my childhood and when I got out of the hobby. Now I've learned so much more about Pokemon. My general understanding and knowledge of the game has improved, of the collecting has improved, and just overall, some of the story and backstory of all these different mons that I missed out on. That was a great experience for me. Now, some of you have been a part of this for your whole life and have never gotten out of it and are here for every single new Pokemon that's released. So that might not be as relevant to you, but for me, that was really important and something that I really enjoyed. So as we wind down here, the last few pages of our Pokédex, let's talk a little bit about my collection in particular. Again, the Dex app that I mentioned before allows you to show a value of your folder. So I have about $5,300 in value here in my Pokédex. Now that number is 100% overinflated because Dex does not let me pick card condition. And I am 100% not a near mint only person. I'm a binder copy guy. Anything mod play or better. Oh, the GOAT Danny Phantom just pulled himself a god pack of Ascended Heroes. Living vicariously through him, as you cannot find this product anywhere. But back to the Pokédex video at hand. I'm not a near mint only person. I'll take mod play. I'll even take heavy play at times. So a lot of the cards that I have in here, especially some of the more expensive ones, definitely have some wear and some play. So that's another tip if you're trying to stay within your budget and save a little bit of money, is take a look at some of the cards at LP or MP. It can save you a substantial amount of money. And I'm not looking to flip this Pokédex for money in the future. Obviously, I want to keep the cards in great condition and I want them to appreciate in value. But again, that's not the main goal here. My goal is to make this look as cool and as special as possible. So I'm willing to take a hit on condition for a good binder copy of a card that's a little bit more expensive. So I hope you enjoyed this journey through my Pokédex. Everyone's Pokédex collection journey is different and unique, and I think that's why this is the best part of collecting Pokemon cards right now. So let me know in the comments if you have a Pokédex, any tips and tricks that you have that I might have missed.